Welcome into another episode. My name is Stormy, and we are going to talk about magic and miracles. And this feels like in perfect timing of the holiday season and just the holiday season. We'll just like leave it at that. And it's interesting because I used to, I used to like really hate the holidays and used to really, in particularly, like just not really love Thanksgiving or Christmas. And I was just like, ugh. And it was kind of because I was so upset that Halloween was over because I love spooky season. So anytime like Halloween had ended, October is done, and then I have to get through November and December, just felt like too much extra time. Like all of that should just be spooky season, is what I was frustrated about. But this year feels very exciting because I had like this like awareness where I was like, whoa, I don't have all of this around the holidays. I'm actually really quite excited. And I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of exciting. So I'm really pumped for the holidays, and I am excited to see what magic and miracles get to be delivered within, this magical chunk before we get into the next year. And there's probably a lot to unpack around why I felt this kind of way around these holidays. So we don't have to get into all those nitty gritties, but maybe you also felt this too around the holidays. Maybe it's not always been like the best um, connections in families or friends. Maybe you've always wanted different places to be or go, or it's awkward or weird, and all the different things why we like don't really like the holidays. So I would challenge, if this is you, to kind of separate that bank from the actual energy of the holiday spirit in a way. And this came through really strongly for me. And I know because it has become, because it's been so loud from my spirit guides, I know that this message is not just for me, but it's also for the community here, and it's for you. And it is the phrase, don't quit before the miracle. Don't quit before the miracle. I have seen this in restaurants, on signs. I've read it in books. I keep hearing it. I've got it in my tarot cards and my morning polls, like literally the exact fucking phrase, don't quit before the miracle. And I think it correlates with getting into the energy of feeling like, ooh, we have like magic's in the air, and letting yourself feel into like, if there's magic in the air, what could be created? What synchronicities can happen? Who can I meet? Who can I stumble on? Like, there's magic in the air. Like, just anchor into that for a minute and just think about all the divinely orchestrated miracles that can happen within this month and this next month. And I just want to just really set this in home where magic or miracles do exist. They can happen all the time, anytime, every day. And I think that we distance ourselves from the possibility of a miracle happening because we feel like they're so like far out, or in fairy tales and in movies and such. And I am choosing to believe that miracles exist, and they happen so frequently that I can have several miracles within a day. And yeah, so I'm like strongly leaning into this. And then yesterday, we had our first like snowfall flurry, and I kid you not, I woke up because I sleep with my window open because I love it kind of chilly, and my favorite sound in the world is the trees ruffling, you know, through the wind. So I love sleeping to that sound. And so I woke up and my window was open. I get this like gust of like fresh, crisp air, and I like look out my window, and it's like legit movie style snow flurry out the window, and it's like coating all the trees, and it's not really sticking to the road, but it's like coating kind of the tops of the cars and the grass and the trees. And it was just like, looked like a winter wonderland. And other versions of myself, I would have been like, ugh, just winter and ugh, all this stuff. And now I feel like, because I have been in such connection with like my inner seasons of my body and more connected to the outer seasons, that we get to experience like how honoring how much magic that we have in each of these seasons. And if we don't like a particular season, explore that of why. Like if you kind of a hater on winter, like do you not like to go inward? Do you hate slowing down, or like what about it is like making you feel ugh, you know? So I've just had realized how much had shifted around what I like and enjoy based on what I have like worked through over the years. So, anyways, I was like, snow was falling and I was just so excited and walking out and just like seeing the flurries and each snowflake. And I'm like thinking about the snowflakes and how they're all uniquely different and just thinking about all like the movies. And then I started to get really excited about holiday movies. Again, just something is so, it's just so different than how I normally am. Again, I used to like not really enjoy them. I only wanted the spooky seasons, the witchy shows, the witchy movies, like terribly sad and depressed that spooky season was over. So I never really allowed myself to like get excited about this season and the magic of like the holiday spirit. So last night, then I decided after like, because it was still on and off snowing like throughout the day and the evening. And so last night I had decided, you know what? I'm going to lean into this even harder and we're going to go super deep into this. And so I picked a rom-com to watch. So I ended up watching The Holiday, which is like classic, watch The Holiday. Then afterwards, I was like, you know what? It's still really early. Like maybe I'll watch another one. Like let's get crazy. So I turned on How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And so they're like, again, I like just wasn't really interested super into like the rom-coms and especially holidays. I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, this doesn't exist. Hater of love kind of thing. And now I'm a lover of love and I love the miracles and I want the magic. And so I watched these movies just like really deeply getting into this like energy of like romance and magic. And yeah, someone can show up on my doorstep. Like, why not? And so I think that as we get older, like it's sometimes it gets harder and harder to get into that like fairy tale dreams, wishes, magic. It's like it feels like it gets farther away from us. And so when we watch these things, when we're so concrete into like reality and the ways that things happen and don't happen and like the rules and all these things, we kind of find these things far out and silly. And uh, yeah, I used to really judge movies and series and honestly people that were like into all of this because I was like, come on, all of this stuff is just like a load of shit. And a lot of that was my own wounding around love and relationship and joy and play. And so when I reconnected to my own, spiritual heart, my soul, my inner child, my sense of play and wonder and dreamy and fairy tales and expanded that horizon again, I was like, wow, actually all of these are really powerful and important. And like, there's a lot of messages and codes and things that can be delivered to me within these movies in this sense of, the spirit of the holiday. And yeah, so getting back to the quote, the main reason why I feel like this episode, what I want the energy to be around and really like have you be able to take this home with you throughout the week and today is don't fucking quit before the miracle. I feel like so many of us, including myself, we get ourselves up to a freaking point, whether that's in a relationship or in your creativity, creating your business, in your job, in your expression, in whatever it is, in like what's been consistently your main like manifestation focus. Like you've been focused on this certain manifestation and you really want it to come into fruition, into the 3D. You want it to experience it. You want this in your reality. And every time you kind of get this push-pull energy and you kind of start, you kind of stop, you kind of start, you want it, but you don't want it. You want it, but you're kind of not ready. You want it, but you're kind of scared of what it's to come or all the rules or maybe I'm sensing like responsibilities it comes with. Like you're like, I don't really know. Like the dream is a little bit more fun to like play in, but I don't really know if I'm ready to like have it. And so then we kind of subconsciously sabotage ourselves. And then also subconsciously like don't really believe that it could exist for ourselves and almost like we don't feel maybe worthy enough to have this thing. And and then we just kind of stop and we pull back and we go back to the ways that we were doing things or how we were living, how we were thinking. And we really shrink ourselves to allow ourselves to be like, oh, that's just too far out. So let's just not even try. And I would like to see how much we could push our edges of ourselves to say, you know what? I'm not going to quit this time. I'm just not going to quit. It may still be a long time until I get this thing, but I have committed to not quitting and seeing where that can actually take you. I'm not going to quit because if I keep going in this direction and I pivot a little bit, I go down a different route a little bit, or I change a few more things about myself, or I kind of tweak the desire of what I actually really crave. And I connect deeper into my heart to really figure out what it is about this thing, why I want this to come to me. I'm going to just keep going into it and I'm not going to quit. The only commitment that I have is I'm not going to quit. And then soon enough, when you get into that energy and you keep going, the miracle is there. And I think many times, like the miracle is there right around the corner for us. And it's like we just get so nervous to turn that corner. We're like, I don't really know. Maybe I don't actually want it. Maybe it's not really the thing, or it's not, maybe it's out of alignment. Maybe that's not for me, or maybe it's not even possible for me. And I just really want to challenge that thought process because I have been here and I have thought this way about business and creativity and career and relationship and family and kids, all the things that like I had pushed away for so many years of I don't want that. Um, and then realizing when you actually look at it and you heal the wounding or the triggers or the things that you think that you don't want, it's like something comes out of that and says, huh, maybe I actually just didn't want this version of it or what I thought it was going to look like, or I thought it was going to make me feel this type of way, trapped, suffocated, bogged down, lots of responsibility, X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. And that's why I was pushing this away. And then you're like, oh, actually, that doesn't have to be true. I could do it my own way and I can create it into this thing where it can be completely in my own expression. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's thing. And I just want to say, don't fucking quit before the miracle. Like if you knew there was a guaranteed miracle on the other side of this holiday season, would you keep going? Like, would you keep going in whatever it is you want to manifest? Would you keep going if you knew that the miracle was at the end? And uh, it's interesting because I was watching a mystery show and I can't remember if I mentioned this last week, but I was watching a mystery show and it was fun. There was a murder. It was like a fun like murder she wrote kind of light comedy, a light comedy murder. It was like a not a heavy situation. Still someone died, but you get it. It was like a kind of a fun show. And it was just fun to watch it to be like, "Ooh, I wonder who murdered this person." And you wouldn't have this sense of like awe or wonder or excitement watching the show if like you already knew who did it. You wouldn't want to watch it because you're like, "Well, I already know, so I don't have to like figure out like I don't have to go along the process because I'd be like, "Oh, that person did it." And it takes out like the magic and the fun of the show when you like know the ending. So this is that. Like if you knew exactly how it was going to be delivered, if you knew exactly when and um you knew the ending, like would it still be fun to do? And some of us would be like, "Oh yeah, that's what I prefer because we want that control and we want to know that if we put in this effort and if we do these things, then we will get this result and outcome." And some things, I mean, can be very literal like that. Like, um, if you want to have a healthier body and you eat healthier food and you move your body, then in time you will feel healthier. You know what I mean? So like sometimes it is very straightforward and concrete. And all you have to do is keep doing the steps to get to the result you want. But other times things can feel very like, especially if it's something so big outside of what you want this miracle to be. Like it's this divine partnership. It's this incredible community you want to, birth to the world and bring this offering that you want to share or something, sometimes even if you put in the steps and you put in the work, you don't actually really know the outcome. You don't know the outcome. And you can say, all right, I'm going to do everything that I can to get there, but I don't really know if that thing is ever going to get there. I mean, that if we go back to the body and the healthy situation, perhaps when you're working out, you uh, strain a muscle, you strain something, or you get hurt or injured or somehow, and somehow that delays you. The whole point is like there are steps that you can take, and you take the steps to go along this path to get the thing that you want. But there's no guarantee if that's going to come to fruition, because maybe even something bigger and more magical and in a completely different miracle is waiting to be delivered to you. You just have to keep going on the steps. Like it's kind of like, how they say to like detach from the outcome of what you think you want and how you think it's going to be delivered, and just get into the magic of the the magic of the season, the holiday season, the spirit, the love is in the air kind of thing. Like let yourself really just dive in so strongly into this vibration where you can just say, I don't know. If I do these things, like maybe when I go grocery shopping, I'm gonna stumble and meet this dreamy man and we're both reaching for the bananas. I don't know why I said bananas, but you know what I mean. Like just if you were in a holiday movie, how would your holiday movie go? Like, what do you want the ending to be? What do you want your audience to be like? Ooh, is she going to get it? Is she going to do those things? Like, is she going to give up? Is she going to keep going? Like, it's the whole fucking hero's journey. Like, we want to go through the steps. We want the hardships. We want I almost didn't do this, but then I just pulled deep down within myself and decide to just keep going and look at where I am now. Like we wouldn't have these whole incredible stories of triumph if we didn't have these like, struggles along the way, the tribulations, the tests, the doubts, the fears. Like if we give space to actually say, hey, even though I have these doubts, I have these fears, I have these, I don't know, what ifs, if I'm not going to amount to the thing that I want, I can see those things. I could say, yeah, I recognize those. I know they're true. I'm going to validate my own feelings, but I'm also going to hold there is miracles, and I can keep going, and I can dream, and I can know that I can keep going even though I have those other feelings. And we don't have to eliminate those things and then to be able to get the things that we want. I think we can hold space for them, shine light on them, shine love on them, and say, okay, I know you want this relationship and you're kind of nervous to meet this person, or you're nervous to get into this relationship because what if at the end of the day they break my heart? And so then you have this fear, and then you could be like, well, maybe I won't even go through that process because I don't want to feel this thing. But if you're not going to risk this thing, then you won't ever really be able to fully go into that experience to learn those lessons or have those codes or the messages delivered. Like you won't be able to get any of that if you don't commit to going through it, no matter the outcome. So the holiday season and the holiday spirit is just don't quit before the miracle. And that is a huge focus of mine. So I'm just really just letting myself kind of get into that spirit, the ooh, like love is in the air, magic is in the air, expect the unexpected. My whole life can change in an instant, in a day. Like I'm going to create and lean into joy and play and really let myself be that kind of like inner child watching these movies and think like, yeah, there is this energy of co-creation where magical things can happen, miracles exist and can happen frequently, and they can happen to me. They can happen to me. It doesn't have to be this thing that I read about or that someone tells me something magical that happened in their life. It can happen to you. Or you could even say, it's going to happen to me. So anyways, I have some protein hot chocolate I'm going to drink. So I put up a bunch of like sticky notes everywhere on my desk, in my mirror in my bathroom, in my mirror in my bedroom. And they're just like little love notes I give to myself to like remind me of what I'm here to create, what I want to feel on the day to day. And so on my desk, for an example, I have right below me audacity, not talent, do it your way, provide guidance to those who struggle. And it's just a reminder to like get my own ego and my own self out of my way. And many times, the thing that is blocking us to getting the thing that we want, or we have the desire that has been delivered from us right from our soul. Like our soul is like, here's the desire that you have. I gave this to you because this is what we're here to create. And sometimes the ego in us like gets in our way of like, who am I to want these things? Who am I to build these things? Who am I to talk to myself on this microphone? Who am I to teach people anything or whatever? And it's like the ego just wanting to shrink us and wanting to make us smaller. And it's yeah, actually, I am that person. Like I am X, Y, and Z. Whatever you want to believe about yourself or remind yourself. I am X, Y, Z. So I have these sticky notes. And so those are on my desk. And then in my, I forget what's in, I think, in my bathroom, I say, begin again, begin again. Every time you stop, just begin again. Expect synchronicities. So they're just like little love notes I put everywhere to just remind myself to get into that energy and vibration when I have my own self doubts and when I have my own, crippling, why am I even trying? You know, and all of us can have that at various stages of what we want to do, especially if we are doing something that is so connected to our soul and so connected to our heart. And it's something that we're really here to bring to the world. A lot of times we really doubt ourselves because we're like, I don't really see anybody doing it this way. I don't really see any art look this way. I don't really see da 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 da, whatever it is. And it's because you're the one that's supposed to bring that to the world. So I just wrote down on my whiteboard the new one: don't quit before the miracle. A reminder daily to just put in the work, put in the hours. If that's sitting at your desk and journaling, sitting at your desk doing art, sitting at your desk and recording, what are the steps that you can take daily or weekly so you can commit to not quitting? And just write those down and say, okay, if I do these things on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, because I know like every day is sometimes difficult. Like, we have schedules and kids and responsibilities. And sometimes like saying you're going to do something daily and then not being able to do it daily almost does you a disservice because you're like, well, I can't do it every single day, so I might as well not do it. It's like that all or nothing mentality that we can have, that black and white. And I feel like that really affects our ability to push the needle forward of the thing that we want to create. So even if it's like a weekly, I'm going to do this, and just set space to be like, if I do this on a weekly basis, that means I am not quitting on my creativity, on my vision, on my soul mission, on dreaming whatever I'm here to create. I'm not quitting on the manifestation. I'm not saying, oh, it's not coming, so I must not be worthy of it. It must not be attainable. It must be too far fetched. It must be too big of a vision. I must not be the one to receive this. All those things that can flood it in our system, to just remove those things, to be like, no, you're not going to quit. So think about the things that you can do differently or do more of to let you know, let your subconscious know, let the universe know that I am committed. I am committed to the miracle being delivered. So I'm not going to quit before the miracle is delivered. I just feel like this is so, so important for us to hear in this holiday season. And I feel like the holiday season is so different than any of the seasons I have experienced. I think that has a ton to do with where we are at collectively, where things are at physically in the world, in the stars, and the energies. I think that a lot of us are realizing, like, wait, shit, I can unplug from this. I don't need this program. I don't need to think this way. I don't need these limiting beliefs. I actually have all the power and wisdom with in me, inside me. I don't have to outsource myself. I can actually love myself. I know I'm worthy. Like all of these really huge collective shifts that are happening. And if you're feeling like your negative thoughts or beliefs or or all the things that kind of weigh you down, if you feel like those are getting stronger or rising more to the surface, just do more releasing. Just like let them out through your body. Just say like, okay, this is the last of it. We're just releasing the last little bit that's going to keep us, in this way. So just keep on saying, oh, it's just coming out for a reason. It's just, we don't have to zoom into this and hyper fixate of like, oh, here we are again at the same spot, doubting ourselves. Like just keep on releasing it, keep on detoxing it. And it is just such an interesting place for us to be right now, because I think the energetic support that we have collectively around us is in support of miracles. Like it's the easiest time right now to actually have miracles be delivered right to your doorstep. Think about that. Think about how if you can order a miracle like you order from Amazon. This is exactly what I want. This is the size. This is the amount. This is the color. This is who I want to get it from, and I'm ordering it, I'm pressing the button, and I know it's going to be delivered in 2 days. So I'm not even going to check where it's at and the timing of it, because I know it's going to be delivered. I'm just going to order it and expect it to be delivered. What could you put in your order? What do you want in your Amazon cart from the universe? What are you ordering? What are you manifesting? What is the miracle you want? Because your spirit team and your spirit guides and your teachers, will not be able to deliver anything to you if you do not ask. And I have learned this in a very aggressive times, because when I have certain situations happen, I'm like, I throw a little like toddler tantrum, being like, okay, this is what I need help with, or I need this now, or remove this person, or just handle this for me. And I'll do a really strong ask, and it will be very apparently delivered very soon. And I'm like, whoa, I forget that I have that power within me. And I forget to ask about actually the things that I really do want. Like, are we actually asking the universe for the miracle? Are we expecting it? Are we believing it can come? So I really hope this resonates with you. And if you feel like somebody needs to hear this and you don't want them to quit on their dream, or you don't want them to quit on themselves, or you just want to send somebody a little love note, send the episode to them. Maybe it will help their vision and their miracle come to fruition. And if it does help you, I'd love to hear from you. So you can either type a little comment below about what miracle you want to be delivered if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcast, you can always just shoot me a message on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Maybe write a little love note for a comment of what you've enjoyed about the show so far. Those really help grow the show, and I absolutely love seeing and reading all the comments that I get. So I'm sending you so much magic and so much energy and energetic momentum of the miracles that are going to be delivered in your life. And when you get a miracle, tell me about it. Give me the 411 and get into the holiday spirit. We don't have to be Grinches, and we can be excited and happy and in love and expecting the unexpected, and in anticipation with excitement, because we know the miracle is coming. So do not quit before the miracle.